off your engine! Now, here's a recall with Tesla that you might want to learn about because it affects not the people driving the Teslas, but the people behind them. So if you see a Tesla on the road, don't get too close. It turns out that they have to recall 9,000 of these Model X SUVs, their new models, because small pieces might fly off of them when they're driving down the road. And guess what? Hit you behind them. So especially if you're driving a motorcycle, don't get too close to a Tesla Model X. Pieces might fall off and hit you in the head. It turns out that they glued these superficial parts by the windshield and hood using urethane. So they're gluing their cars together. And it turns out that they might not have put primer on the metal first. And if you just do it, eventually it will come apart. That's the problem when you're dealing with gluing things on. You have to have the area perfectly set up. There's a guy I know, I believe he's in Michigan, Ohio, someplace, and he sells Bondo kits for bonding stuff. The thing about his kits, they use a type of super glue, that cryoglue. It comes with a primer spray, and you prime it first, then you put the glue on, then it adheres. Well, it turns out when these clowns were building them, I guess they forgot to put the primer on some of these cars, and these pieces can fly off and hit people behind you. Yet another perfect example of lack of quality control at the Tesla factory. And of course, Tesla, as usual, is blaming it on someone else. They're saying that, well, the people that they're buying these pieces from didn't have the proper amount of primer on the part they sold them, so when they put them on, they didn't stick right. They're always passing the buck. They never say, oh, we screwed up making them. Oh, it's our supplier. Well, guess what? You're buying all these parts from somebody else. You're the one. The buck stops there at Tesla. You're building the things. You're the one that's supposed to be checking the quality control. You don't buy things higgledy-piggledy from all over the place, and then if they fall off your car, blame the people that sold you the part? No. Just like in a previous one, Tesla was saying, well, the cars are breaking in China because the Chinese have horrible roads and they drive poorly, and that's why the cars are breaking, instead of admitting that they weren't building them right in the first place. They always want to pass the buck on somebody else. This time, take Scotty's advice. Don't get too close to any Teslas. Don't tailgate them. Things might be flying off and hitting you while you're driving down the road. It's bad enough that these other people are buying them and they're getting all these recalls because they own them and they might break. Things might happen to them. But now, things might happen to you because Tesla doesn't make their cars right. That's all I gotta say. You can't get a company that never made cars. All of a sudden, they're making these cars. They're gonna have quality control issues, and they have an awful lot of quality control issues. It's just kind of ridiculous, you know. How often do you see with even American-made cars that pieces are falling off and hitting people? Even that hasn't happened for quite some time. Even with poorer-made American cars. Well, these Teslas, they were made in the United States, so technically they are American-made cars. Now, here's an interesting energy story. Maybe fuel cell cars with hydrogen energy can save coal country. And you might say, what? That doesn't make any sense. They're shutting all the coal mines down because they pollute too much. How can going to electric cars that have hydrogen fuel cells save coal country? Well, it turns out where they produce the coal, the shells of the factories that are there, are almost perfect for creating green hydrogen. If it gets to a level that they want hydrogen to run hydrogen fuel cell cars. Not only do they have the factories and the areas already there, but they have skilled labor that don't have any jobs now. And they'd love to be working in a factory making clean hydrogen. That's the thing that I always wanted people whine about. Oh, this is bad, green, it's bad for the economy. It's great if it creates jobs for people. So the coal guys don't have jobs. Well, guess what? Somebody else will take their place. Back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, all right? The people who made horse carriages. Yeah, well, they stopped making them because people got cars. Well, they can start making cars instead. There's nothing wrong with creating jobs. And if they're green jobs, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So all these people don't have jobs in coal country. If they opened up factories that made green hydrogen, hey, they can all have jobs. Factories are there. They have trained people that are just chomping at the bit to get good jobs. So maybe electric cars will actually save the people in coal country and give them good jobs. You never know, you know. Maybe they'll be able to get the hydrogen out of coal with a good process that isn't polluting. A lot of the hydrogen is made from coal, but that's what they call gray hydrogen because it's not clean like green hydrogen if it's made from water and electrolysis. But of course, they have to make the electricity. And if the electricity is made from burning coal, which a lot of it is, kind of defeats the purpose to make hydrogen clean when you're using dirty coal to make the electricity to make the hydrogen. So maybe hydrogen cars will help all these people in coal country get jobs. Back in the factories, they used used to work, only they'll be making clean hydrogen instead of getting dirty coal out. Who knows? Sometimes life is more ironic than you might think. D. Matienzo says, Scotty, any advice on becoming an automotive technician? I've been working on cars since I was 10, and then I watched your videos, and now I'm 34 and enrolled at Lincoln Technical School in Melrose Park, Illinois. Any advice you can give me to help? Most people today don't know how to fix anything, especially cars. So, if you're doing a job where you can fix something that other people can't do, you got job security. And two, the main thing is, if you like it, specialize in electronics, automotive electronics, because everything's electronic now. The stuff that breaks is often electronic. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? You're only 34. So probably in 15, 20, 25 years, there'll be a lot of electric cars out there. You understand all the electric parts, you'd be easily to switch over to fixing electric cars because you know all the electronics. That is the future. Guys doing brake jobs and stuff like that, anybody can do that anyways. I mean, the main thing that I get of guys that work on their own cars when they bring them to me isn't brakes and stuff. They do that themselves. It's electronic stuff that they don't have freeze frame oscilloscopes and they don't have the data banks like I do to analyze it to see what's wrong and what isn't wrong. Specialize in electronics and you'll have a future for sure. And if you get sick of fixing cars, there's always electronics and other stuff you can fix too. It extends out a long way. 2003 Sequoia says, Scotty, I'm hoping you can cover this. Ontario is raising ethanol content to 15% in all regular gasoline. I don't like it. I think it's going to ruin fuel systems. Our freedom of choice is being taken away. I lived in Toronto in the 1970s, went to school in Toronto. Canadians always had more rules. You guys have lots of rules. You had that VAT, value-added tax, so every time you buy something, the price goes up. You don't really have to worry about 15%. The engineers that create the gasoline, they know what they're doing, and they have additives so it doesn't hurt anything. The reason they're doing it is to bump the octane level off. Ethanol has higher octane. If you look, a lot of the race cars run on 100% ethanol. And of course, they have special fuel injectors, pumps, everything's set up so that they can run and not do any damage. But with 15% and the additives they have, it isn't going to do any damage to your vehicle unless you're driving like a 65 Chevy or something, and the octane isn't going to be high enough. If you got a souped up engine anyway, you'd have to get aviation gas or something to make it run right. Those are set up well enough in any modern car that it isn't going to do any damage. Now, on the other hand, if you're talking about E85, which is 85% ethanol and 15% gasoline, you really have to have ethanol E85 car that can run on regular gas and ethanol and anything in between because they have special fuel pumps, special fuel lines, special fuel injectors, special computer software, and they can run on anything from 0% ethanol to 85% ethanol. The computer measures it and then it sets everything up to make it run right. So those, it's a bit more complex. But 15%, it's really not going to hurt anything as long as the engineers keep putting the additives in that they do. And of course, an added bonus for you guys up in Canada, ethanol keeps the gas from freezing if anything's in it. When we were kids, we used to buy ethanol if you had, we called it dry gas. And if you think you had water and it was frozen in your line up north, I grew up in Niagara Falls, you'd put the dry gas in, which was like 100% ethanol, and that would absorb the water. So it will get rid of water too. So don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt anything. Well, Volvo's always been into safety. Well, recently they just crash tested 10 brand new Volvos by dropping them 100 feet, picking them up with a crane and dropping them 100 feet on the ground to see if the responders could open them with the jaws of life to get people out after a big crash like that. Now, one thing I have to say about this is, seems like a big publicity stunt to me. I watched the videos and looked at the pictures. And yeah, there's the guys trying to open up with the jaws of life, right? I didn't see any crash test dummies inside. Those crash test dummies, they got all kinds of sensors, right? And so they test them here in the United States so they see what kind of damage would have happened to the people inside. I can imagine that if you were dropped 100 feet from a crane, the crash test dummies probably would have deadly injuries, and the sensors would say, well, that would have killed him, would have broken his neck or wrecked his ribs. I don't think they wanted to have the real information out there what actually would have happened to somebody inside. They don't need to put real people inside. Crash test dummies have all kinds of sensors, right? And I'm looking at these pictures. I don't see any crash test dummies inside. And sure, it's a great idea so they can extract the doors and stuff, but what good is if you're extracting dead people? I would have put the crash test dummies in there, but then if it showed they died, it would have been a very bad PR stunt, and they would have wasted their money. They probably wouldn't have told anybody about it. They showed all this stuff out, but, I would have put crash test dummies in. If you want to do a test, you have to do a test accurately. It's like over the years, I've had people send me all kinds of stuff that said, oh, you want to get better gas mileage, 20 miles a gallon better, or have 10 more horsepower, blah, 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 if you use this chemical or this oil or whatever. Whenever I tested any of those and checked on a dyno, none of them worked. Some of them actually got worse gas mileage. This test, they should have done it with crash test dummies. That's all I got to say. If you're going to do a test, do a real test. Don't do some showboaty thing. Tesla putting the sports car in outer space for show. Really, showboat stuff. And to me, this is showboat stuff. They want to really do a test those cars, they should have had crash test dummies. Because I can see from these pictures and videos, I don't see any crash test dummies. They didn't give any information on the press releases about, well, the crash test dummies, here's the data from them. So I don't think they had any crash test dummies. Or maybe they did, and they had so much damage that they shut up about it. I don't know. If anybody out there can find out more, please do and tell me. I want information. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.